Okay, first of all, let me introduce my name. My name is Rosida as the leader of opposition. And I think the decision to ban all of the production and meat consumption are bad decision. Why? Because as we know, we still need protein from the meat and some other nutrition from it. And the idea to change meat to plant-based meal is the worst decision that I ever hear. Because with changing the meat to the plant-based, we will lose so many nutrition that only can find in the meat, like the complex protein, with zinc, calcium, and vitamin B12. And it will make our body get worse and worse by the day and day. And the second is about the immorality of eating meat. Ladies and gentlemen, how can you equal human and animals? Human and animals are really a different communities. I know we as human we have a consciousness and slaughter animal is worse from them, but we can have the better and good ways to slaughter them without hurting them, like really torturing them. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, in so many ways there are some good way to slaughter animals without torturing them. That has been taught in many years. And about meat cigarette consumption, I think that's not the temptation to eat those meats. But as we know, our body will naturally need meat because it needs some protein and vitamins and some other nutrition in that meat. So eating a meat is not tempting at all. Because as I said before, we need some protein, zinc, calcium, etc. that only can be found in meat or meat production. And about meat can lead into some illness. I think everything will lead some illness if we exaggerating something. So eating meat will not lead in illness if we eat inconsiderate, and so our body won't get harmed at all. Looking back again, if we didn't get enough protein, zinc, calcium, and B12 complex, our body will get worse every day, and maybe the worst thing is we can facing some malnutrition in the future. And ladies and gentlemen, remember, we still need nutrition from meat because it only can be found in meat, not in plant-based meals. And about environmental health effect, actually, do you really know what is the biggest production of monoxidant and carbon oxide that we know right now? It's from the other vehicle, other production like the fabric and etc. And the farming, it only gives a little of carbon dioxide. And actually, farming is good for environment because, as we know, farming can provide our organic fertilizer that really help with the environment and will not damage our environmental. And as we know, the animals not give so many greenhouse gases in our world. And about tradition, do you think there is some tradition that can change meat to the plant? No. There is so many traditions that cannot be changed, such as an Eid that Muslims celebrate every year, at Gadimai Festival on Nepal, and Lamb of God in Europa. As we know, all of that tradition need animals to be repent to the God, to be give to the God. So, in all of examples that I mentioned, we can replace that animal with plant because it already lives in their culture and their tradition. Ladies and gentlemen, looking back again, if we didn't get enough meat, or if we eat plant all of our life, we can worsen our body, and even we can worsen our traditional and culture, because it can change the culture that has been lived for years and years, and it really will damage in the future because our next generation will never know about that culture again. So, in my argument, the consumption of meat should be doing and to be continue in future, because first, if we didn't get enough the protein from the meat, we can face malnutrition. And ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to get malnutrition, right? You still have to maintain your body to be a good, right? So, as we know, there is some nutrition that cannot be found in plant-based, such as vitamin B12. And the second, meat farming can be good for our environment, because with the organic fertilization, we cannot damage our land, and we will make our land is more good in the future. The third is the production of meat product also will give so many job vacancy for everyone. As we know, to make a good slaughter, we should have a more humanity slaughter to the animals, such as we will recruit all of the other person to be a slaughterer and tell them how to slaughter good. So it can give them more job vacancy. And so I believe that we still need to consume and produce some meat in the future and next, because it's really good for our health, our environment, and our job vacancy to everyone that need that job. As we know right now, there is so many people that lost their job and need that job. Okay, so thank you for the attention. So.